Hey, my Twitter family. This is Fly Tie MMA, also known as the Progressive Martial Artist on YouTube. I want to make this update video like I've been trying to do. I've been having a lot of great time talking to voters and canvassing out here in South Carolina. I appreciate all the support I've been receiving on Twitter right now. It's pretty incredible. It just shows the power of our movement and our army. One thing that I want to make sure is clear that none of this would be possible without you guys. So thank you once again for all the support I have received. I had a pretty long day yesterday. We was canvassing out there for a few hours. You guys saw a few updates I made, and then I had a big Tulsi Gabbard town hall, and she had another smaller event before the town hall that I really want to talk about because not only did I get a chance to meet Tulsi, which was one thing, I was very happy about that. A lot of people that follow my Twitter knows that I have a lot of respect for Tulsi. Even though Bernie is by far my first choice, I like that she stood up for Bernie in 2016, and me growing up during the George Bush administration, the Iraq War and the war machine had a very big impact on my political development. So I have a very strong sense of respect for anyone who stands up for endless war and tackle the military-industrial complex. Even if I don't agree with them on a lot of on some issues, I have some respect for that. But don't get it twisted, man. Tulsi Gabbard is by far the second farthest left candidate in this race. I mean, if you look at her Off Fossil Fuels Act, at the second strongest plan, I think that's the Green New Deal. She has a healthcare plan which isn't as strong as Bernie's, but it's based on the Australia system. And make it hers is the second best healthcare plan in the race. She still has it's a payer plan. Um, the only thing that Tulsi gets wrong there is I love her emphasis of choice, but at the same time, her plan is still much better than what you see with Warren and Buttigieg and a lot of people in the race and Democrats in general. But anyway, the point is, I like how Tulsi holds her events. They was telling us how Tulsi is a big fan of small, intimate events. So it was me, Tulsi, and there was like 7, 8 people, including my roommate, that was sitting down and talking to her. And you guys know me, I'm a talkative motherfucker. So as soon as we sat down, even before Tulsi got in the room, I was kind of taking command of the room and talking about issues I think was important that Tulsi was putting out there. And then all of a sudden Tulsi walked in and dude, she was sitting right next to me on my left. It was so surreal to have Tulsi next to me and at the beginning of the conversation, like she's gonna release this on the podcast, so hopefully you guys can check it out. Me and her was having some real policy discussions and talking about the current political climate. The three big things that we tackled. We didn't have a lot of time because we could talk forever. We was talking about her UBI. My roommate was asking her a question about that because he's a little bit concerned about it. We was also talking about Google and big tech censorship. I was asking her like what, because this is something I'm torn on. I'm not quite sure we should break them up. I lean more towards making a public utility. And I was asking Tosi what she think her plan, what she think we should do on that, and she pretty much seemed like to be a fan of breaking them up because she said we need to strengthen the antitrust laws we have in America. So we was also talking about a little bit about foreign policy, how to defeat Trump. Another big issue that came up, I always like to bring up MLK because there was recently an Asian American candidates event that they did invite Tulsi on, and we pretty much had a conversation where I believe that the Democratic Party and a lot of liberals are perverting what it means to have representation. They only like people of color if they told a line they agree with. So when I made that point and when I made the point of big tech censorship, I can tell that Toasty was a little bit impressed. I was super happy because after our short conversation, Toasty made a comment that me and my roommate must have a lot of great conversations. I see him well read on the issue, which was a giant compliment to me coming from someone I respect so much. So overall, the first event was amazing because we were literally right next to each other, eye to eye, talking about issues, talking about politics, and it was incredible to finally had that conversation with her. Right after that, she had an event like 40 minutes later. Next door, it was a town hall. where she obviously did her thing. It was great. I even had a chance to ask her a question. So now I always want to hear it directly from her mouth. Because obviously I'm part of the Sunrise Movement, which is why I'm still, trust me, Bernie 2020. I pretty much was asking her what the difference between her Off Fossil Fuels Act and the Green New Deal. And this is something I get Tulsi a lot of credit on as well. A lot of people don't talk about it. Her climate plan is really strong and really advocating getting off fossil fuels like we should and meets the climate expectations. She just had some disagreement with the Green New Deal, which I kind of disagree with her on. And this is kind of one point that she made on her sit down that she didn't really agree with a federal jobs guarantee. Her argument was that we shouldn't just have the government create jobs just to create jobs, just for the hell of it. My argument to Tulsi would be that we have a lot of work that we need to get done. The whole point of the Green New Deal is that we're going to move towards renewable energy and transform our economy to be suitable for that. In order to do that, we're going to have job training programs. A lot of great work need to be done on infrastructure reform in order to get this done. So it's not like we're just creating jobs just to create a job. We creating jobs to address all the issues we have in our society, like infrastructure and moving over to renewable energy as well. So I disagree with her on that. And another thing she mentioned that she didn't like about the Green New Deal was it was a resolution that plans on tackling a lot of issues, and I disagree with her on her assessment on that because we was talking about foreign policy and how it affects everything. There were how foreign policy affect domestic policy, and she has a really great understanding of that. So I implore Tulsi to realize that climate affects everything else as well, and we're gonna address the issues of climate change. We gotta address the issues of a lot of different things as well because they all interrelated. They call it intersectionality. So that's why the Green New Deal is very impressive because not only are we addressing climate change, we're addressing a lot of the root causes of our societal problems and the corruption. And by addressing climate change, we can have a federal jobs guarantee. We can have infrastructure reform, and kind of push our society in a way where we can be a lot more progressive in general. And but anyway, we had a great time talking, and I really loved the face to face we had because a lot of people in that little face to face were a little bit nervous at first, but I feel like I helped kind of stir the conversation forward because we carried the conversation to start off with, and then that when I see a lot more people was open, and very big props to Tulsi because when we talk to Tulsi in person, she is very welcoming and she has like a warm energy to her when you talk to her in person. So I was very impressed. I kind of told at the very end when I left the town hall and we had a quick conversation. I did tell her that I was definitely still with Bernie, but I appreciate what she was doing, and I do. One last thought is because uh, there are a lot of people that still dislike Tulsi. That she's a very a polarizing figure, and this is why I implore a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters to consider the media has been unbelievably unfair to her. And coming as a Bernie supporter, you should understand that the media twist things and they constantly lie about you and they don't tell the whole truth and half truths. So if you're a Bernie supporter, you see what the media has done to him, why would you immediately believe all the smears that they have on Tulsi? Tulsi is the second furthest left candidate we have on this field, especially since Elizabeth Warren pretty much showed us who she really is this election cycle. So honestly, I mean, you guys can leave some comments below or something. I just don't agree with Bernie supporters tearing down Tulsi. That is completely. I always believe that was completely counterproductive. She's anti-establishment, and we're gonna need her in this fight as well. And I appreciate her spreading the issues as well. With that said, her vote record isn't perfect, but she's by far one of the furthest left people we had in Congress and running right now. So I appreciate her for that. But once again, thank you guys for all your support with me in South Carolina. Like I said, I'm working hard for you guys. Please check out my GoFundMe if you want to help fund my activism. Thank you guys and have a great rest of your day.